Welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. I'm James McGowan.
Hi, I'm Jessica Faust.
We are literary agents who have taken our popular blog to YouTube to discuss all things publishing. Hey, I didn't get to tell you this, but I have spoken to about 15 people in the past 2 weeks who love the YouTube channel.
Oh,
so, thank you folks for watching and all of your kind words. There have been a lot of kind words, and I can share those with you off the camera. But
that's one of those moments where I remind you of how much you did not want to do this with me.
It might be one of those moments. But anyway, here we are, 4 years? 2018, 4 years in. Yeah,
that's
let's not
crazy.
think about that. Anyway.
Kind of long-winded.
Yeah. Yeah. 4 years still talking about the same crap, huh? Anyway, today we wanted to talk about, I guess, a bit about our role with our clients, right? And what we can do for them. And what I think that a lot of authors don't realize is a service your agent can, should, will, most likely does provide. So we had an instance recently where we're hearing from clients about this information that they heard from their author groups, right? Like their critique group or their debut group or co-marketing group. And it wasn't necessarily in their best interest or always true. So that led us to this slight rant.
Well, so yeah, what happens sometimes is an author will come to us in a panic or angry or confused because they've went to their author group first and they asked them a question, or through the conversation had heard something and didn't first come to the people who know, who are agents. And
or can find out.
Yes, or can find out. Yeah, I mean, this is publishing, I've always said, is sort of a weird business. It's not, it's not something you go to school for. It's not something that, it's not like hiring a contractor where you could probably call 500,000 people and find out what it's like, what the steps are to remodel your home, what you should look for yet next, should you hire an architect, should you do it on your own? All of those questions are pretty easy to find answers to.
Right.
And despite how many hundreds of books are published every year, there are very few people probably in your immediate circle that know a lot of great details about publishing. And a lot of times that includes the people that you're closest to in your critique groups and your author groups who don't always know that much about publishing.
Yeah. And also, I should say that includes us, right? Like the information we put out on the blog and the YouTube, it's very helpful, right? It's helpful in the way you might look up how to change a toilet and then you start to do it and you're like, I need actual information. But like anything that we're saying here, it's useful to speak about with your agent, who can then apply it, because your agent knows your circumstances. We don't, right? We're just sort of speaking generally. So
and some of it's and some of it's very publishing dependent. So if you want to know how a publication schedule works and what to expect from a timeline or your edits or from a marketing plan, there are so many variables to that in terms of the publisher you're with, maybe even as specific as the editor, what you're writing, what genre you're writing in, how the publisher sees your book in terms of marketing and publicity and things like that.
There's no such thing as standard. There's no like one size fits all.
Good gravy, no. So if you're having a conversation, let's say with your critique group or on Twitter, and you're being told that what's happening should be done differently, or you're being scared into thinking that what's happening should be done differently, this is one of the many times and reasons you go to your agent, who can give you an answer of what usually happens, but also go to your publisher and find out what should be happening for you right now and why it is not.
It's almost like those are step one, right? Like get the information, know what to ask from speaking to other authors and illustrators, if you're an illustrator, who are experiencing their own journey. But it's not the answer. It's not, like I said, it's not one size fit all. It's not what you need to take back to your agent and demand. I think that's just getting the information, doing your research, and then to bring all of that to your agent, who is your little personal well of knowledge or access to the industry. And then it's a conversation starter, not the entire conversation.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, but one of the saddest things I sometimes hear from authors is that they're afraid to ask their agent, or they're afraid of their agent, because this is so much of what our job is to, we know for a lot of you that when we sign you to be a client and to work together, we know that you don't know, and we're okay with you not knowing. But we also, it's not practical because of everything we've already said about there being no real consistency. It's not practical for an agent to sit down with every new client and give sort of a publishing 101, because I can't assume what you know and what you don't know, and I can't assume what your experience will be. I can tell you from initial steps what I'm going to do and how we're going to work together, but beyond that, it all kind of happens as it happens. And those are the times to call your agent and say, hey, my editor said this. I wasn't comfortable asking, but I don't even know what they mean. Can you explain to me what they mean, or whatever it is?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's not practical for us to give a crash course in everything. I think a lot of it you learn hopefully when you're querying too, right? Like you find a channel like this, or you listen to a podcast, you go to a conference, you meet other authors, you're starting to learn bits and bobs. And then if you feel like you can't approach your agent, that makes me feel like I'm not doing my job right. First of all, look at this yellow shirt. It's my sunny disposition is not working, man. Look at that wall, for Christ's sakes. Like, something's not working.
We are nothing if not sunny.
No. But in all seriousness, I think you have to have that accessibility to your agent, because that's a large part of their job. And by feeling scared, something's not right. So it's worth a conversation about how you can feel more comfortable to bring those questions to them.
Yeah. And just because you've had one book published doesn't mean you suddenly know it all either. So don't assume.
That in mind.
Right.
It's on a pillow.
Because as your career grows, new things are going to happen. But it's not just a career growth, it's the world changes.
We don't even know everything, right? Like there are always instances where we have something with a client, we're like, never experienced that before. What do we do? Yes.
So ask your agent, and especially if, I think it's great when authors share information, and I think authors should share information. I mean, we are big fans of transparency here, hence a YouTube channel. But I think authors also need to not base their own experience on what's happening with other people, which I guess is just a simple fact of life. People shouldn't always base their success and failure based on other people's journeys, because it is all different.
Yeah, very true, especially in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what we're getting at is probably what this video is titled: lean on your agent. Don't forget to double check with them, confirm, cross-reference everything.
Yeah.
When in doubt, see what your agent thinks before you sort of make these statements and assumptions and decisions about the industry and your career. Because that's our job. We're business partners after all. So we should be in the know anyway. So.
Yes, it is good to keep us in the know. Important.
Yeah, please keep us in the know. Anyway, so that's just our quick little public service announcement. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you back here next week.
Bye.